Okay, so 42 is maybe not such a special number in mathematics, but a very special number in nerd culture.
Good. Good, good, good. Did you want to do something on 42?
Yes.
So you take a piece of paper, it's very thin. Let's fold this in half. Fold it in half again. Fold it in half again. Imagine you can keep doing this. And in reality, you can't keep doing this. But imagine you can keep folding it in half. And each time you do, it will double in thickness. And if you fold it 42 times, that's enough to reach from the Earth to the Moon. You notice when 42 turns up, you keep noticing it. But that's not really all that remarkable, since any two-digit number will turn up 1/100th of the time.
Today we are in my office and we are talking about numbers, and when I was asked about thinking about a number, I just realized that there is a number that I see every day when I enter my office, and this number is 42, because we are in this office B42.
42 is maybe not such a special number in mathematics, but a very special number in nerd culture. 42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
If you now go on Google, what is the answer to life, the universe, and everything? So Google Calculator gives you as an answer 42.
42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. I am a huge, huge, huge Douglas Adams fan. My favourite book is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. All my favourite books are the trilogy of 5 books that makes up Douglas Adams' work in terms of a character called Arthur Dent.
The author Douglas Adams, a great comedy writer, wrote first a radio series called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and in the show they built a supercomputer, a giant supercomputer, to work out the meaning of life, the universe, and everything. And after millions of years, it decided that the meaning of life, the universe, and everything was 42.
At which point the people who programmed the computer and built the computer were rather disappointed, but the computer quite rightly said, well, what's the question? And they said, it's the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. But what's the question? Which is, I think, is a completely valid thing. So then the idea was to build a supercomputer which would calculate the ultimate question, and the supercomputer was Earth, and we formed part, or humans formed part of that organic framework.
You've ruined the ending.
Oh yeah, but if you haven't watched the, you know, if you really haven't listened to or watched or read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books, you haven't lived, so go out and get them now.
Perhaps slightly embarrassing confession is that I used to be involved with the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy fan club, and I used to help run it briefly just a few years ago when the film came out. I remember it was quite an exciting time. I don't see them anymore. It's a shame, but there are more. I know more things about 42 than I really ought to.
This number 42 is said to be a pronic number.
A what, sorry?
A pronic number.
What does that mean?
I can write it for you. So a pronic number is a number which is obtained as the multiplication of 2 successive integers. So for instance, in the case of 42, 42 is equal to 6 times 7. These are one after the other, and any number which is like this is called pronic. For instance, 2 times 3, 3 times 4, and so on.
Douglas Adams, I think, chose this number because it kind of has a funny sound. 40, all those O's, 42, it's a funny sound.
Again, if you go on the web and if you read some of the articles about 42, there are arguments ranging from, well, actually it's 101010 in binary, which is, you know, a nice binary number. And in fact, in the television program, that flashes up when they say 42, you see the binary.
You'll find 42 comes up a lot in comedy and in other shows, partly because of Douglas Adams and because he used it, but partly because it's just a funny sound.
Then there is another interesting property which is slightly more complicated about this number, and it is the fact that it's defined to be a primary pseudo-perfect number.
A what?
A primary pseudo-perfect number.
Go on, what does that mean?
Okay, so first of all, you have to find out what are the prime factors of 42. Okay, so write down 42 as 2 times 3, which is 6, times 7. So these are its prime factors. Primary pseudo-perfect number is such that the sum of the inverse of each prime factor plus the sum of the inverse of the number itself is 1. 1 over 2 plus 1 over 3 plus 1 over 7, and these are the sum of the inverses of each prime factor, then plus 1 over the number itself. If you work out this calculation, you can put everything under a common denominator. The result is 1. There are not so many numbers that have this property. The next one after 42 is, I think, 1,806, and then you immediately go to very huge numbers. So it appears like an innocent property, but it's not.
The story is he wrote it in his garden. He was sat in his back garden. He thought, what number should I choose? It should be a sort of smallest number. It should be a sort of boring number. 42 will do, and he picked 42.
There's also arguments that 6 times 9, if you look at that problem in base 13, out pops the number 42. All these mad things that Douglas Adams himself said were absolutely bonkers. He said he chose 42 because it's a funny number. He thought it was a funny number.
And then there is another, for instance, another one which 42 belongs to is the sequence of Harshad numbers. Harshad is written like this. So what is a Harshad number? Is a number that is divisible by the sum of its digits. So you have 42, take 4 plus 2, this is 6, and 42 is divisible by 6. So any number with this property is called Harshad number.
Do you think it's a funny number?
Oh, I don't know. It's an interesting one. Would I have gone for 42? I don't know. What number is funnier than 42? 71? I don't know, 68?
If you are very bright in mathematics and you participate in international Olympiads of mathematics, and the total mark to achieve the perfect score is set at 42.
Is that a coincidence, or do you think someone did that on purpose?
Well, this I don't know. I mean, we need to ask the people who are involved in these committees. But before Douglas Adams, there was already quite a lot of attention on this number from works by Lewis Carroll. And, you know, mathematicians have they are known to have particular taste for recurrences and nerdiness, so to say. So it may be that this was chosen on purpose, but I don't know very well.
In the Fan Club magazine, they would have a column all about where people have seen the number 42 recently, and it was a bit of fun, except for one guy who took it quite seriously, who actually thought there was a mystical meaning behind the number 42, genuinely thought there was. And he used to go through the phone book and look for multiples of 42 in people's phone numbers. He used to find a multiple of 6, find a multiple of 7, multiply them together and go, oh look, it's a multiple of 42, how amazing. It really isn't that remarkable if you look for things like that.
As soon as I see it, there's an instant resonance there when I see 42. And in fact, one of the experiments I want to do, we're working with taking a silicon surface like this, where we put hydrogen atoms on it, and then we take a tip of a scanning probe microscope and remove the hydrogen atoms one at a time. And one thing I really want to do is put 42 on a surface in atoms.